Hello, this is Dr. Wilkinson again. I wanted to give you an update on the robot that I'm putting together. It's got a lot of difficult packing issues and trying to get all the features of Mogo into the space available. But this front part here you've seen before. This is the goal lifter, and if you notice, I can get right underneath my corners now that I couldn't do before by doing a little bit of trickery with extending the length of these guys here by putting in this little plate. But the most important thing today is I wanted to talk about this elevator that brings the rings up from down near the ground up to the top, where they're going to tumble off into onto the pole on the goal. But this is the picture of it here. It's got the motor and sprocket on one side. That's somehow, let's see if I can do that a little bit better. Sprocket, the belt with the paddles on it, the motor. Inside there are 1-inch standoffs used to hold the two channels, 1x2x1 channels that are 29 holes long. I'm clumsy here again, but here's your typical bearings on the ends for the thing, and they're in the very last hole in the center row of holes. That screw there where the black socket head screw has got the standoff on the inside of the channel. Same down at this end, similar bearing on this end, but on this side there's the motor mount straight through there, and it's a 12-tooth sprocket that's driving the belt, and the belt just fits, spans across the two channels, and can come down to rest on the channel if there's a hefty weight on it. Just slide right on the channel. Then here's the end with the sprocket, which leads to the second. There's a second moving ramp that comes out here that's yet to be built, and that sprocket is designed to drive. In fact, maybe let's turn it around this way and it'll be a little bit more realistic. This here is used to drive that second level, so they just need one motor for this whole assembly. And I'm using the green gear case, which is the middle speed torque gearbox on the motor. It's the one that we use most commonly. It comes standard from the factory that way with a green gear case in it. Other places I'm using the red gear case, which is the high torque, low speed thing. Like down here, this is the motor drive for the goal pickup. I wanted the high torque to pick up the load of the goal out here at this very extended reach. So there's a pretty hefty torque on this shaft. And then here, something in my assembly has the motors back here. In the textbook design, the motors are in the middle, which is convenient for making this as wide as possible. But this is wide enough for a donut to go through, so I'm hoping that it's sufficient. Then here out front is the sub-assembly for the to sweep the rings in to feed the elevator. And I leave that unmounted because this has a structure to mount and support that's quite messy. This whole area is quite messy with structure, and it needs to be open right now in order to get to it and do it easily. So can't comment much. Notice the brain is already in place. Has a home on this thing. I think there's a place for the antenna that will go on this vertical pole. And notice how this vertical channel, I should call it rather than a pole, is tied to this cross member of the chassis, and also is tied to this cross member of the chassis. And this particular vertical riser has the motor mount for the lift pickup, and that is the stock packaging for that, and it's quite, it's very dense in this whole area, so dense with structure, this whole area. So I wanted to give you this update. Feel free to email me questions at aw@chaff.biz. But Mr. Nachman also has a pretty good grasp of what I'm trying to do. But again, this gives you a status of where I'm at. Still a fair ways to go. There's still a side lifting structure that's got to go on. There's that upper horizontal belt conveyor that I've got to put on. There's some other features I'm not remembering right now. Okay, I guess that covers it. Hope you're having a good time, guys.